So I got a couple comments on the last episode as far as uh, people are really impressed in the research that we did for the episode with Russell Ott last week, and I have to give credit to Bill. The fact
Yes.
that the fact that it took someone more than half my age to actually start using the internet for good, I guess. So Bill is doing a lot of our research, and he provides us with the notes that we use and the questions that we ask. That is a little behind the scenes. So, Bill, thank you very much for all of the
Thank
work.
you.
All of the
No
work
problem.
you've done, because if it weren't for you, Zach and I would have been asking Russell how many different ways to pronounce his last name.
Hey, it's Zach from What the Pod Was That and the All About Nothing podcast. And America's birthday is coming up faster than we can track. Celebrate Independence Day in style with ZJZ Designs' latest t-shirt collection on TeePublic. Introducing 3 brand new 4th of July heart designs that perfectly capture the spirit of America. These shirts feature vibrant, patriotic colors and unique heart-shaped designs that stand out at any celebration. Whether you're heading to a fireworks show, a barbecue, or just enjoying the summer sun, our 4th of July heart collection has something for everyone. Show off your love for the red, white, and blue with ZJZ Design. Visit ZJZ Design's TeePublic shop today and get ready to shine this Independence Day. Links in the show notes or visit ZJZDesigns.com and check out all the great designs. New designs come up often. ZJZDesigns.com.
The All About Nothing podcast
may have content and language
that isn't appropriate for some.
Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, Nothingers, to another episode of the All About Nothing podcast. This is episode number 208. I am Barrett Gruber.
I'm Zach King.
All right. Please subscribe and share the show. That's how we get new listeners. Also, if you can, please consider supporting the show financially by visiting our website and clicking on the support link. If you can't do that, please drop us a review, hit the 5 stars, give us a thumbs up, or leave a comment. All of that helps drive us higher in the ratings. Real quick, want to thank Russell Ott for being on with us last week. He's currently running for Senate. There's some links in our episodes as far as like where you can check out what he is all about. We really enjoyed having Russell on, and because, of course, of Bill, we sounded much more intelligent than we probably are. So appreciate that. So this week, our guests this week are Bernie Heller, who is the publisher and advertising director for the Freetimes, the Post and Courier Freetimes here in Columbia, as well Tate White as the marketing accounting executive for the Freetimes. And this segment of this episode, we're going to talk about the Best of Columbia, because voting is currently going on for the Best of Columbia, and we got nominated again.
Yay!
This is what we got last time.
Shameless plug. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries. Everything's shameless around here. I guess so. Really wanted to have you guys on because we wanted to have you all announce us. But Zach and I have some questions about some of the free times. But before we get into that, Tate, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Me, I'm Tate. So I grew up here, lived here my whole life. And then like 3 years ago, I decided I wanted to live in what I thought was a cooler, bigger city. It was Raleigh. It was not cooler.
Nope. I lived there, can confirm.
Yeah, it was not cooler. So I came back here, and then I've been at the Freetimes coming up on a year next week. So
Nice.
I handle marketing for all of our businesses that work with us digitally and in print.
Okay. Well, and Bernie, I don't want to give away everything, but I think just based on the fact that you are the publisher and advertising director, you probably have a few more miles on your experience, I guess. But can you tell us?
You're very, very kind, and that's why I'm rooting for you this year. And best of is to win.
That's what I know.
I've got a few more miles on me than Tate and most of our marketing executives here. I've been in the industry for about 35 years, and grew up in the Northeast, traveled all over the country for various jobs in the media industry. Landed in Columbia in 2011 and just fell in love with this city. I mean, absolutely fell in love with it. Had to leave for a short time from 19 to about 22, where I spent some time in Tulsa, Oklahoma. another cool city, but not nearly as cool as Columbia. And I got back here as fast as I possibly could to really I just love the city. And I came on board with the Freetimes Post Courier Columbia in August of last year.
Okay.
But I've been a fan of this organization for the better part of a decade. In fact, when I was in Tulsa, we looked at a lot of the things that the Post and Courier was doing from a grant standpoint, from a community standpoint, and really aspirationally tried to mirror them as much as possible. So when the opportunity presented itself, where Chase Heatherly, who is was the amazing publisher of the Freetimes for a long time, was promoted to Chief Revenue Officer, and he reached out to say, "Hey, I've got this opportunity. I could not get here any faster." I was literally, he called, he said, "Hey, are you interested?" I'm like, "When do you want me to start?" I've been a fan of the Post and Courier and the Freetimes for a very, very long time.
Yeah. And honestly, if I'm looking for my news, as far as like pulling up a website,
Yeah.
I generally pull up the Post and Courier because their paywall, y'all's paywall, starts a little later than other newspapers in town.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Are there other newspapers in town?
I don't know that they're actually centrally located here in town. But
I tell you that we are, to my knowledge, we're definitely the largest locally owned and operated media company in South Carolina. I mean, we are now in 14 markets, under the direction of PJ Browning and Pierre Mangold to really kind of fill in the news deserts across the state.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Something very near and dear to my heart. That we really. How often do you get to say, like I have a 24-year-old son, and how often do you get to say to your kid, what I do funds a constitutionally protected right? The First Amendment is enormous.
That's great.
It's a passion for me. It really is. Yeah. And we have, and then on top of it, we have a ball. I get to do a best of and just go crazy with things. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's a great way to frame it too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we certainly appreciate the best of. So I guess just to ask some questions about the best of, I will mention we are in the running with Here for the Health Fit, Dr. Randy and Dr. Tom, who have made the claim in the advertising that they paid for sponsoring the best local podcast, that they are the hottest podcast in Columbia. I'm not going to say they're not. I'll just, they're more fit than I've been in the same room with them. They're nice guys. And if they do turn out a win, I'm happy that being on their show is what promoted them, that pushed them over the top.
Oh, sure.
Purpose Over Profits is a podcast here in South Carolina that I have subscribed to, but I do keep hitting the played. I don't wind up listening to it because they're a lot more intelligent than I am as far as money and stuff. And then Welcome to Wonderland, of course, is a podcast that is one of our partner podcasts. Welcome to Wonderland is under the Big Media umbrella, and that is hosted by Ami Bland. So it's kind of cool. We've got two of our own podcasts in the best of Columbia, best local podcast in Columbia this time around. So that's very exciting. So
having to beat our own will be a new experience.
That's right. What we have to do is we have to almost guarantee that if we win, she gets one of the tickets. Is the only way that works.
We can definitely work out something there for you without.
Yeah. So I guess just to ask some of the questions about the Freetimes this go round and the best of Columbia. Did we retire any categories this year in the best of Columbia?
I'm not sure what categories we retired. I think we left them all status quo. We did add a few new categories this year. With the changing world, and Tate backed me up on this, and I think we added best spa practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Best med spa practitioner, best restoration company, and then we broke out best mortgage loan officer from best mortgage loan company or lender. Yeah. So it's the specific officer with the company. So we did that breakout as well.
Yeah. In my head, for some reason, I imagine that I don't know. I am so I didn't even see mortgage, but I hate my mortgage company so much. when I finish paying off my house, I am never buying a house again.
The
This is it.
views and
I'm done.
opinions expressed by Barrett on this podcast are not that of the Post Courier Columbia Times. We love our mortgage companies and our mortgage loan officers.
I don't imagine any of them are related to my my mortgage company.
It's funny to me because our best stuff started in 1989, right? And back in 1989, we had 4 groups of categories and only about 81 categories. Now, we had categories like best bar to get in a fight in, right?
What?
And oddly enough, that was group therapy, which is still in some iteration is still on the ballot, right? But
See?
So from 1989 to 2024, this year we've got 11 groups from 4. We went from 81 categories to 307. Tate, is that right? 307 categories.
Lord.
So, and it's funny to me when you look back, 35 years ago, places like best place to buy a CD, and I looked at some of the band names of the bands that were playing or were, voted there, and like none of them even exist anymore,
Right.
I've never heard of them. So it's definitely an evolution that goes on, and we'll look to probably retire some categories and add some other categories. People get very passionate about their categories. So we get a lot of emails. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I imagine Villanova, they're Villanova, Brooklyn now, or Villanova, BC. I think they had to change their name.
You're the one who always brings up Villanova. I don't know. I'll be like, remember those 2 songs?
Yeah. I remember them. I remember Villanova. I remember them. Yeah.
You mentioned group therapy, best bar to get in a fight. Was that also the best place to catch hepatitis C?
Again, that was not a category then, and I can't imagine it's ever going to be a category.
I wouldn't imagine either.
I can't see that happening, to be honest with you guys.
In the future, we look forward to categories such as best place to get your Elon Musk brain link installed, things like that.
Hey, that's we're definitely going to put that take it under advisement on the committee next year. And,
There you go.
Right in that category for us. But what's really funny though is that, and I think this is a testament to Columbia. There were a number of businesses that were on that ballot in 1989. They're still on the ballot now in some iteration. You've got group therapy, you've got Bojangles, you've got California Dreaming. But I also think it's a testament to how much Columbia has changed, because in 1989, the best pizza was Pizza Hut. Okay.
Oh.
So, it's just I think it's a testament to how much Columbia has grown and changed and evolved, and just what makes the city so fantastic.
I'd really like to give an endorsement to the best pizza, but as I am fully aware from 2022's endorsements that I gave out on some of the politicians, it's a death knell. To be honest.
I don't want to have to say the disclaimer again. So Barrett. So let's.
I'll try it out. Best pizza is still Pizza Hut.
We're very excited for all the participants who are sharing in the vote getting this year in the best of Columbia.
Yeah, absolutely. So I noticed best weather person, and I didn't realize this when I saw the category. I didn't realize something had happened. Of course, Jim Gandy retired back in 2019. I think he came out of retirement just so he could be on the ballot again.
Probably. Would not surprise me.
We can hear you. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And here's the interesting thing, guys. Jim Gandy, first ever Best of Columbia winner for best weather person, 1989. Jim Gandy.
Oh wow!
Yep.
Gosh,
crazy, right?
I will give Aaron Walker a little shout out, because I texted her and said I was really surprised that she didn't make it and as the best weather person on there, but there's some good ones on there, so that's cool.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, I noticed also that Biggest Media Hog did not have Alex Murdoch on there. Is the cutoff convicted murderer? Is that?
I'm a man of the people, and we get thousands and thousands of nominees, and we have to keep it to 4 to 8
Yeah.
In each one of the categories. So, I can't really say where the cutoff was or how many votes Alex got. But it is what it is. The ballot stands as it stands today.
Yeah. So for some of the older categories, did we see any new names for any of the older categories this time around?
Yeah, I think what new. I mean, there's a number. I think I'm trying to think off the top of my head if there was anybody that really jumped out at me. I think you can imagine it's probably most of what you would assume some of the newer categories are. And when I say newer, it's Dragon Room and things like that. New but still associated with some longstanding people in Columbia. I was really surprised this year that tattoos seem to be a big boost for us. We got lots of participation in that from Binge Inc. and Black Dahlia and Highway 1 Tattoo. So that's been a pretty exciting thing for us as well.
Yeah. It's like pet services is a category now that has a bunch of best dog park, best kennel.
Yep.
I didn't remember those from last year, but in truth, I was only pointing people at the best local podcast over and over.
That's totally understandable. I mean, last year we had 336,000 votes that came across for between noms and voting. I mean, people are really committed to this. I think because we're the oldest and longest standing, it really does. And of course, we throw the most outrageous parties.
Yes. Very fun to meet the other winners there. That was awesome to get to meet all the other winners there. I love doing that.
So we had 336,000 votes in our ballot last year.
That's amazing
voting. And to this year, I won't reveal the numbers yet, but I was blown away by day one's page views in the first hour. It was in the tens of thousands. So
wow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Man. Yeah, that's fantastic. I think one of the and you mentioned how the Best of Columbia is the longest running as far as like Columbia goes. But I think it's one of those things like when I walk into a place and I see Best of Columbia, this is the best local bar or something like that. It didn't strike me the same way until after we won.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a, camaraderie of the winners. And it's not the same people that win every single year. So it's a very inclusive group. Every year there seems to be new members and things like that.
What's fun is when you walk into a client's office, for the first time or the second time or the third time, and you've got, multiple years where they've got the framed, I see behind you, the best of the multiple framed crown, right? It's a source of pride. I mean, this is our community saying we think you're the best. And it's a pretty cool thing. And you're right, it is a real community. It really is. It's funny to me when you go to the parties and you see people who have been there multiple years and multiple winners. They really do have that sense of pride. And you get these emails: when's it starting? When's happening? When can I get a logo? And there really is a sense of excitement around the best of process. And what's really cool is it starts in April and it really doesn't come to fruition until August.
Yeah.
When we announce the winner. So it's a pretty labor intensive process for us.
I bet.
Any idea what the theme of the Best of Columbia party is going to be yet? Or are we keeping that one pretty close?
I know what the theme is going to be.
Oh, okay.
I know that because I know a guy. But I'm not told it just yet. What I will tell you is that if you've been to any of our best of parties in the past, you can expect just another amazing event. I was looking at some past information, and this was kind of put it in perspective for you. We've had indoor roller skating, we've had live boa constrictors, we've had animatronic dinosaurs, we've had indoor laser tag. We've had bounce house obstacle courses, and we have beach volleyball. Absolutely. Last year was rock stars, icons, and pop stars, and icons. I personally counted because I was one of them. 4 Kurt Cobains that showed up at various
Oh yeah,
right. We had the Katy Perry karaoke center, karaoke room last year. So and what's really amazing is, we had 1,200 people come to this party last year, right? And people really clamor for it. They are looking for tickets. They're trying to figure out how to get them. They're buying them if they can. But 1,200, I mean, think about another event in Columbia that consistently brings in 1,200 people for an event like this. So I can't tell you what the theme is. I can tell you it's going to be fun. It's going to be wild. It will be really, really wild. And that's all I'll say. And if you read between the lines on that, but it's wild.
In reading between the lines, so Purge is the theme this year.
Barry, I didn't want to say anything, but just make sure you get there early.
I'm going to skip this one. This one.
We were looking things and we said, after animatronic dinosaurs, where do you go? And it's like, it's a live purge. It's just got to be that way,
That's right.
So we're working the permit system now through Main Street. It's a tough one. It's tough, So but we're very excited about it. The party this year is I believe it's August 17th. So we'll be announcing more to come on that. So.
Well, we're very excited about it. Do we have a venue yet, or are we still looking for that?
The Museum of Art, I believe.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, last year we went up to the karaoke room, and they were having some technical issues with the microphone or something like that. So I tried to assist. But
we appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
But
it was funny last year. If you were at the party, I was just talking about this today. As a part of the crew, part of the organization, you're always worried about different components. And let me just give a shout out to the team, the events team that puts this together for us. If you remember last year, 10 minutes before doors open, we had a torrential downpour.
Oh yeah.
And when I showed up, like right there, everything was perfect and done. But the Katy Perry room, for the first hour or two of the party, there was like 2 or 3 people in there. And then I checked back in at about 9:00 and it was mobbed, or it was crazy. And it feels a lot like Columbia does. I think it's a good cut of Columbia, because it's like everywhere else here. Like, 2 or 3 people find something cool, and then they go and tell a couple other people, and then suddenly it becomes really popular. So I was really pleased to see that the karaoke took off by the end of the night.
Yeah, it was a very, very full room.
Yeah.
It was a little warm, but what I remember was some of the people that were doing the karaoke, they didn't go up on stage. They were just laying in the bean bags on the floor, just doing their karaoke from the floor.
And the inflatable chairs. Don't forget the inflatable chairs.
That's right.
And the beach balls. There was a lot of free times staff air at those beach balls. We spent a lot of time inflating those. Everybody thinks it's all glamorous here, dude. It's really not. We're a roll up your sleeves kind of team here.
I think one of the really cool things also was y'all had a photo booth, but it was the 360.
Mm-hmm.
That was really neat.
Yeah. That whole second floor was really, the first floor was amazing. Don't get me wrong. The music was wonderful and everything was great. But when you went to that second floor, it almost felt almost like a secondary party, right? And it was really the photo booth was fantastic. The tattoos were fantastic. The food was fantastic. I can't tell you that there's a better party in Columbia than the Best of Party. I'm willing to put that out there and challenge anyone, for that one.
I thought the Halloween party was really cool too.
We had a good time with the Halloween party, but in comparison, it's about a third of the attendees.
Yeah.
And we were in the Halloween party was fantastic. We were in Central Energy last year, and I'm not sure what our plan is this year. We're talking about what our fall lineup for events will be. So we're not sure if we're going to do a Halloween or something else, but we like I said, free times, we have a good time. We really do, and we're very pleased to be a part of this community.
There was you mentioned about 1,200 people at the Best of Columbia last year. That wasn't just winners? I mean, you can buy tickets to come to this event.
You can, yeah. There are a couple people. I don't necessarily know them by name, but there were a few people that I saw that have been in multiple years, and then also at the Halloween party, and they're just readers, right? I mean, they're just fans of Post Courier Columbia and free times. And the thing I'll tell you that, and I've spent a huge chunk of my career in this business. Post and Courier Columbia / Free Times is really not like anything I've ever seen in the last 15 or 20 years of this business. We have a tremendous online presence, some of the best reporting out there from the State House and local. Our Free Times arts and entertainment coverage is really like nowhere else in the country. We still enjoy an amazing relationship with the arts and food and culinary marketplace here in Columbia. But we put out 15,000 copies, printed copies, every single week. And look at the numbers. The return rate, the number of copies that aren't picked up, is minimal. People really do grab that newspaper. They really do like that. That's something that when other newspapers in the marketplace make changes about their distribution and whatnot, we get a lot of calls, concerned of, hey, are you still going to do this? Can I get this by mail? There's a real affinity to our organization, and we don't take that lightly. Tate will tell you, one of the things that I say all the time is, we're a cornerstone, a foundational organization here in Columbia. And the better we can make Columbia, then everybody wins. And the thing that I love about this place is, while we all have diverse backgrounds and diverse career paths, the one thing we all share is a common love for Columbia. Like, we all really love this city. And it's just, you can feel it in everything that we do.
Yeah. Listeners to this podcast know that I grew up in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And I moved here at the age of 21.
Sure.
So I've been here now. I've been here now longer than I lived in Atlanta, being born, and I've been here now for about 24 years. And I have friends that live in Atlanta, and they're like, you ever think about moving back? I was like, no. Yeah. I said, if I move anywhere, it's going to be overseas, but no, I can't imagine living somewhere other than Columbia.
Yeah.
And that comes from a guy who's not even like a Gamecock fan or a Clemson fan. I grew up a Georgia Tech fan and Braves
not at all.
So it is a very unique place to live. Columbia.
I moved here in 2011. And literally the day I rolled into town for my first job interview here, knew this is where I wanted to be. I've worked in cities like as big as Dallas, Texas. And the thing about Columbia is it is so welcoming in so many ways. Like in other major metropolitan cities, if you go to the Museum of Art and you say, hey, listen, I'm very interested in art. I don't know a lot, but I'm willing to dig in and support. A lot of cities like Chicago and Dallas and even Charlotte has this kind of like look down their nose kind of thing. Like, oh, really? We'll get back to you. Columbia, if you're willing to be a part of this community, man, they throw their arms around you, right?
Yeah.
And it's such a cool feeling to know that, I make this joke all the time that we're a maker city, but everybody kind of jumps in to help each other out. So it's like, hey, I've got this great idea. I really want to do a Brussels sprout truck. And 14 people are like, hey, I've got a trailer. I can let you have it for this. We'll do this. We can help you with that. And everybody rallies around. Even though we're competitive, everybody rallies around making Columbia better, because we know the better Columbia is, the better we all are, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And you see it in things like our Columbia Food and Wine Festival. There's a restaurateur here who is one of my favorite people on the planet. And I saw him at the festival and I was like, hey man, how'd it go? And he's like, well, I cook burgers for another restaurant all day. And I laughed at him. I said, what do you mean? He's like, well, I walked by and they were having a struggle. And, so I jumped in and helped all day. And that's so typical of Columbia. You try to explain it to other people who aren't from this area or have never been here, and they just don't get it. It's a magical place. It really is.
Yeah. I like I said, I could not imagine moving back to Atlanta or living somewhere else. Columbia is
New Jersey, so there's no chance I'm going back there. So.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, even on our worst day.
You're not telling me anything, brother.
Well, Tate, I want to ask you. You are, of course, a marketing and account executive. I assume you're looking for people to come do advertising as well. Yeah, absolutely. Because if there's anything the one thing you can definitely say about the free times is that the newspaper is free, and it's everywhere. And honestly, you put advertising in there, I can guarantee you that you're going to get some movement on it. I mean, there will be, I worked at a small newspaper a little while in Winder, Georgia, and I was doing some crime reporting, like a crime blog. I think you all do a much better job than I do. But I did that for a little while I was working at a little AM station and a little TV station and things like that. And um, I could tell just, based on some of the businesses in town that did advertising with the newspaper, man, people always checked out those local newspapers. And I think I said this last year when we had the Free Times on the podcast, that it is what keeps journalism real and honest is the local media. It is the local newspapers and the local TV stations that really do that.
Yeah, there's no question about that. That's a passion for me. That I really believe that now more than ever we need local journalism in all parts of America. You need those folks attending council meetings. You need those folks attending planning meetings, really looking at the community that they live in, to spread that information out there. And I will give a shameless plug to Tate. It's not just about our newspaper group and our websites. We have a full service digital agency here that is all about marketing solutions. And the one thing that I can tell you, having had this career that I have, is that Tate is really about results. So it's more about what is your current state of your business versus the desired state. Tate will help build you that plan to get you there, using some of our audience that we own exclusively, as well as using third-party digital solutions like search engine marketing and targeted display and things like that. And she's a master at it. She's really amazing. So,
Well, we love Tate for sure as well.
No, I did not know that. Barrett, did you know the magic that is Tate?
So she told me that in a text message a little while ago, and I apologize for the fact that we were not really a paying advertisement.
Okay, we worked it all out. It's all good. We're good.
That's right. That's right.
But I think that's the big misnomer when I hear people socially talk about the state of the newspaper industry. Like, oh, it's a dying breed and nothing could be further from the truth, right?
Yeah.
We've evolved so much that when we go to market to deliver audiences, we kind of deliver them in a twofold fashion. There's audiences that we own and cultivate, and our readers of our newspaper and our print products and our magazines and our events and our online presence through our websites and whatnot. But we have a whole other audience at our disposal where we can find that redheaded Iowa fisherman who's in the market for your services here in Columbia, and we can develop a marketing solution around that. And that's the cool part, is that we've embraced technology in such a way that we use our own audience while we're building that out. Plus, we have ability to reach other folks.
That's terrific. I really appreciate the fact that you all were willing to come on with us to talk about the Free Times and the best of Columbia. You're welcome on anytime you want.
Barrett, I'm a big fan of the podcast. I'm a big fan of the genre. I'm a big fan of where the media is going. So anytime you want to have us on, I'm happy to do it. And I will tell you that Purge will probably be, we'll put that on the list for 2025. Maybe for the 40th anniversary of Best of, we'll just do a giant Purge party and see where we go. But we're very excited about this year. We're very excited about what's coming.
Yeah, I have a feeling, depending on how the election goes in November, it might just be the Purge anyway.
Yeah, again, views expressed by Barrett are not necessarily that of the Post and Courier Columbia.
They know. They know me. Yeah. They know me.
I have to say it. I have to say it. And I will say this to you, that we are Post and Courier is very happy to be in Columbia. They acquired this newspaper in 2016. We published the last standalone Free Times somewhere around 2020. And Free Times has really become, the arts and entertainment arm of Post and Courier Columbia. We are very aware of the value and the significance of that brand. But we also know that those days, and I'm old enough to remember when alt weeklies were started, right? It's a different world now. It's a different genre. And I'm always encouraged by the number of people that still use us for their go and do activities and things like that. But we're very pleased to be a part of this community. We were going to be here for a long time.
Very cool. Well, Free Times printed every single week. You can pick them up all over the city. In fact, I found it very useful that there is actually a map that on your website that actually tells you where they are located. Because otherwise, I'm just asking Tate to hold on to a couple for me.
And if you send me,
yeah, I'll pick them up.
We'll also work out a deal where we can mail them to you in an envelope every week if you'd like. But we can work that out. We're definitely accommodating on that. We're very pleased with what's happening in the market.
Very cool. Well, Bernie Heller, again, publisher and advertising director, and Tate White, who is the marketing account executive there at the Free Times Post and Courier here in Columbia. Thank you very much, guys, for coming on. We look forward to, even if we don't win the Best of Columbia, Best Local Podcast, we look forward to all the success the Free Time has, as well as what comes up for this party at the Best of Columbia. So usually into August, right?
August 17th this year.
Okay. Yep. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. That's a week before Soda City Comic Con.
I know.
Whew.
How weird is it that I knew that?
You're telling me Soda City Comic Con has not taken out any advertising yet?
I should tell you everything you need to know about me, my man, is I'm that it's a week before,
That's right.
So yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right. Bernie and Tate from the Free Times, thank you very much for being on with us. We look forward to hearing from you again soon. And when we come back, we've actually got a country music artist named Stefani Morton. So stick around. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back. Tate White and Bernie Heller. I want to thank them for being on from the Free Times Post Courier Columbia. Lovely talking to them. And we look forward to more information when it comes to the Best of Columbia, especially like the winners. And hopefully it's us. But we're gonna play fair. We're not gonna hire an Indian call center to go ahead and do all of our votes for us this time around. It's because I don't have the money for that this time around. All right, our next guest, Stefani Morton, who's actually from South Carolina and now a country music recording artist. Stefani. Well, you're releasing music.
I've got one coming out tonight. Sure do.
That makes it legitimate. Stefani, welcome to the All About Nothing podcast. We really appreciate you coming on with us. So tell us a little bit about yourself, because you are you're starting your country music career, your music career, a little later in life.
Yeah. I did this a little bit backwards, and I'm running right in there with the 20-somethings, and I write a lot with the 20-somethings. And I was a school teacher for 28 years in Charleston County, and I had a little life change, and I'm from Camden, South Carolina.
Okay.
So I decided to move to Columbia. Eventually settled onto Lake Murray. I have a little townhome there, and I rented out, might I add, because you have to when you live in Nashville.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I had an unfortunate series of events back last August where I literally almost lost my life due to blood poisoning. And the wonderful doctors and nurses and staff at Lexington Medical saved my leg, and they saved my life, because that night I almost died. It was August 25th, 3 days after I had turned 56. And I made a pinky. Do you pinky swear to God I did something like that?
Yeah.
And I do that with my people I write with, so we don't tell our secrets about our songs. But I said, if you let me live, I'm moving to Nashville. Now, that went over like a fart in church in the hospital. She's delusional. She had just had 4 blood transfusions. Yeah, I had some nurses that would laugh, and I had some that I'm a Gamecock. I think Bill's a Gamecock.
I'm a Gamecock indeed.
I had some Clemson nurses there, and so I made sure they were very welcome in my room. And they were the ones real excited about me going to Nashville. So I had a port in my arm. They sent me home after 2 weeks, and I sat home for about another 6 to 8 weeks with a port in my arm. 30 minutes after it came out, I was in my car with my cat and my dog and an air mattress.
Goodness.
And I'd already signed a lease, and I moved. It took me 5 trips in my Fiat, which I have sold. I take Uber now. And I have dropped 4 songs. My 4th song's dropping tonight. I have probably written close to probably 35, 40, which is not like, if Sony's watching, that's not enough. That should be a week. But I've been working. I taught school for a while. I worked for a ministry there, and I taught literacy at a little church in the nations. That was a lot of fun. Now I drive a hearse. Now, is that ironic? Yep. And I'm going to give him a little shout out here for Marighost. And I tell ghost stories on Music Row.
Really?
So, yes.
See,
and
that's interesting too.
Barrett, I'm an actor, an actress, whatever you want to call it. I think you say actor because it makes you sound like you're very official. But they found me on Backstage on one of my platforms, and it's a lot of fun. You get to meet people from all over. And Patsy Cline's a distant relative of mine. The staff here, they've got my biography down to the wire, and she's in there. She's like royalty there, and I get to talk about her and my tour. And I like Nashville. I do.
Yeah.
But it's tough.
Yeah. Nashville's a pretty cool town. Because so my first my first real radio job was at a country station, 2 country stations actually in Atlanta. Okay. So I worked at Kix 101.5 and Y106. They were 2 competing radio stations that a lot of people didn't know were actually both owned by ABC Disney, and literally mirror images. Their studios were mirrors of each other. So there were nights where I had to DJ on one and run the board on the other. So literally I would hit something to go, hit something on Kix and then run down the hall and to Y106 and then would have to hit the button to start the next thing. And then I'd run back and I'd do time and weather and then I'd run back. Yeah.
Forget the gym.
It was a lot. Yeah. Well, I mean, I forgot the gym a long time ago. So according to your website, Stephanie, you play a lot of instruments, including flute, which we just talked about, and guitar. What is a mandotar?
I just bought a banjotar too. So
banjo.
A place where I used to take lessons. It's no longer in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, because I used to live in Charleston. Like I said, taught there for 28 years. And there was this cute little guitar, and it sounded like a mandolin, but it was a guitar. And I'm like, oh, it's 6 strings. I can play that. I only do cowboy chords. I do enough to get a song out, and that's about it. But anyway, I got that mandotar, and I had a little bluegrass band with another art teacher from another county. And we don't play anymore together, but we do support each other because she's got her thing going. I have my thing going. But she played the banjotar. So we were a hybrid bluegrass group because we played hybrid instruments. Yeah. They're just tuned an octave different. And it's a lot of fun to play them. And in fact, like I've got a friend in Nashville right now, grabbed mine, gave me a ride home from an open mic. Oh, I really want to use this. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure
I'll play it like a normal mandolin.
People love that thing.
Do you play it like a mandolin, almost like how you do it with a mandolin? I know it's normally like on that and beat, which I'm not good at mandolin. I have one, but it's like, would you just play it?
The only song I could crank out on a mandolin was that one about the something road song. What is it? The guy? Oh gosh, what's his name? I've got a song called Waterville Road, but this is a different one about the bootlegger. I cannot remember. Everybody is. I can tell you that I could sing it right now, but that's the only one I could crank out. And I ended up donating that mandolin to a school. And yeah, you can play it just like that. But you play it like a guitar. So that's how it is. But I'd highly recommend trying them out. Although I've been to Bill's Pick and Parlor and I love Bill's. And I told somebody I played a mandotar, and one of the guys that was playing mandolin goes, "You don't say that around here." I love playing Bill's. I love Bill's, but I was just laughing. That's sacrilegious.
Shout out to Bill's Pickin' because it's right down the street from where I
love
live.
them. I love
in
going
West
there.
Columbia.
I play. Sometimes I'll do an open mic there. And
very
people
cool.
are so receptive, but I haven't been there in a very long time. It's been since last fall, I think.
Yeah, I think, and just the only time that I've ever actually been in there, because when I've driven past it, the parking lot's full. People are filing in and out the door, so it's very busy. But the only time I've ever been in there was that I went in there because I ordered a metronome from somebody, and that's where I picked it up.
They've got a luthier that is amazing in there. They and their instruments are amazing. Everything about it is just a very cool vibe. And the hall reminds you of something like old Nashville in there. There's a really neat feeling, and everybody's really kind. That was a young fellow that said that to me. But it was funny. But they always are so sweet and kind in there. I really like it. I love bluegrass, and I used to play in some bluegrass things down in Charleston, and I was fortunate enough to have a song. Sorry, there's something flying around here. I was fortunate enough to have a song that I wrote with David Easterling from Knoxville. He actually lives in Oak Ridge. He plays a lot in Nashville, and he is a very, very good songwriter. And I had the honor of writing with him at Nashville Songwriting Association International, NSAI, which I'm a member. And we wrote a song. I'm usually the girl that comes up with the titles, and he goes, "Okay, what kind of titles do you have?" And he was about to go to New Orleans. And I said, "This ain't my first Mardi Gras." So we wrote it. A week later, he sang it on the Blue Plate special, where the Avett Brothers, the Hawthorns, Chris Stapleton, Marty Stewart, I can name them. Yeah. I can go for hours. My name was on that show. So there's a band from Kentucky that follows me, and I follow them. And they are way over the charts with the bluegrass. They're called Tidal Wave Bluegrass Band. They are fantastic. I highly suggest following them. And so I went, and there they were. And then there's Wyatt Ellis, who, if y'all have not, and then here goes all these Grand Ole Opry people. I'm not talking like, Martina McBride. I'm talking like session musicians and stuff.
Right.
What? Don't take me off. But it's like, that was really cool. So, there's so many different facets and ways that people can contribute to music, and that certain people see you in certain ways. So sometimes I think that bluegrass background I had, and maybe my teaching background, has helped me with writing my songs and getting things across to people that find my lyrics interesting, I guess, enough to put in something like that. But who knows what will happen one day? It's a 10-year town is what they say. So I'm almost down one.
No,
not more to go.
Look, name drop all you want, because honestly, Zach usually gets tired of me talking about my Randy Travis story or my George Strait story.
There.
Yeah,
he really is.
Yeah, Randy Travis, my Willie Nelson story. But that's from working in radio and getting an opportunity to stand near somebody, not to actually play music or write music with them or write lyrics. That's one of the things that I find extremely interesting, because in country music, it's different from the other genres of music, because country music has a plethora of songwriters that write songs for artists big and small, and it's such a cool community when it comes to like the whole I think one of the coolest things, and you may fall into this too, but like some of the writers, the actual lyricists that are writing this music, I'll hear them play the songs that they had performed by like a George Strait or an Alan Jackson or something like that, and they sound better sometimes than the actual artist that recorded it.
Yeah. If you ever, I'm a big Tranny Anderson freak, and I don't know if you know who she is. She writes for Lainey Wilson, and I've sat next to Tranny at Locals downtown, which is a big place for like those emerging artists to play. I've seen her perform. Sometimes she does her job on the songs that she plays for Lainey, and Lainey does so well. I mean, it's so different. It's a different kind of good, because she's playing it on a keyboard and it sounds different. But yeah, I think, she's one of the hottest songwriters right now out there. And Hardy, my producer always says, I'll send him some of my songs. He goes, I'll send it back. Our big joke is, what would Lainey do? Got the bracelet, but what would Lainey do? And I told her that. I said, my producer always says that. I told her that at a workshop that I was at, that she was at. But, Hardy and she and Hardy and Shane McNally, I think I said his name right. Ashley. Gorley, all of them. I mean, all of them just write so well, and what they want. And I've sat in so many, a few pitches. I've sat in at NSAI, and sometimes the people want the love songs. I don't write those. And if I do, I don't write them well. Then they want the Bubba songs. That's what I write. Usually when the people that want the Bubba songs are around, I'm not at that pitch. It makes me sad. So, but the more I go through these hoops, the more I realize how hard it is to get in rooms with these people. You're just not going to.
Yeah.
If people think they're just, now I'm in a program with Nash Bash Collective, Chelsea Smith. Chelsea is wonderful, and she is teaching me about that whole bell curve selection, and like emerging artists are here at the top of the bell curve, and then there's me, which I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not there yet. So what I would need to do is I need to pitch to these guys here, and then down to the bottom bell curve. That's where you have you got your Morgan Wallen, and you've got your Martinez and all that other stuff. But I do have a song called Beer Shirt and Church that this people like, oh, well, they're going to hear me in Nashville sing, and they're just going to love me. And, it's going to be like Porter Wagner picking me up like Dolly and whisking me away. That doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't. I mean, these girls that are about to have it happen, they've been there for so long, and they worked so hard. But anyway, I went to an open mic, and I'd been teaching, and I didn't want to go. I was so tired, and I didn't want to go. But some friends of mine who had supported me, I went to go support them. So I stuck my guitar on my back, and I went in, and I closed the open mic, and I played a cover because I get so tired of sometimes playing my originals, which sounds bad, but sometimes you just want to play a cover. So I did. And then I played Beer Shirt and Church, which is a true story about a kid on Christmas Eve. Now, it has nothing to do with Christmas Eve, the song. It's just about a kid wearing a beer shirt in church. And a guy that sings in Eric Church's bar, Dean Harlem, look him up. He's great. He's about to drop a really good album. He's fantastic. I go down there and watch him play. He came up and said, did you just sing about Eric Church? And I said, I sure did. Here's my card. I'd like to see those lyrics. See, now that's how something that's where it happens. And Dean he's at that top of that bell curve, and he's going places, and I'm like, yeah, you can sing all my songs. You can have the whole catalog. Do not care. That's fine to get the word out. But moments like that, make it really exciting. But I've been in 2 magazines, the same magazine, but 2 different issues. Lazy Indie magazine. There's a Grammy voter that's in that magazine that approached me and asked me if I'd like to have, we have some same connections, and asked if I would like to have some of my releases. And I was like, no, yeah, of course. Yeah. And, didn't really help my Spotify numbers, but it, and that's a struggle too, because right now, Spotify is doing things a little bit differently, and an SAI is really fighting them. I don't know if ASCAP is fighting them on that. It really doesn't affect me any, because I'm not Lainey Wilson. I'm not Tranny Anderson. I'm trying to get to a level where I can be that way. But so, there's lyricists in Nashville. There's lyricists that play their music. I saw Tom Douglas play The House That Built Me. Miranda Lambert sings that one.
Yep. Yep.
I'm getting chills talking about it, and I've got it on video. We can play it and I'll cry together. And I mean, it was like, oh my gosh. And just the way he did it differently. But, when you're there long enough, you hear the good and the bad and the ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. I really do. I want to ask you, so one of the things that our producer intern Bill here, he's really good at researching, and he came across something. Your great-great-grandfather played fiddle with Buffalo Bill Cody.
Great-grandfather.
Great. Oh, it's just great.
Yes, so, just great.
Oh, I said multiple greats, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's my fault.
So,
I have to apologize to Bill mostly, because he writes these things and that's exactly what it says, but for some reason I threw in an extra one. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
He was great. He gave us all silver dollars every year for Christmas. It was great. So he was great. Cool. Great. He was awesome. There was like 20 some grandkids. So yeah,
20.
My great grandpa Bradley was an interesting man, and he was the state barber inspector in North Carolina. The stories I could tell you about him, and he's from the side that Patsy Cline is from, that side of the family. She used to come to family reunions and sing, and I guess she was like a little bit younger than my dad.
Okay, because
I don't know how old she would be now, but I can remember stories about that, and Mamaw telling me, and some of the other siblings my dad had. And then they all came from the Hensley side. My daughter's name is Hensley. Okay. And Grandpa Bradley is that side of the family. They all had a lot of talent.
Yeah, because you mentioned Patsy Cline. You all are cousins.
We're some sort of cousins. We are. Yeah. I don't know, third, fourth, fifth removed.
Still. That's, I mean, yeah. that's an unbelievable lineage. I mean, Patsy Cline.
That is, I have a cousin looks just like her, but I don't really now on the ghost tour. I do, because I want tips.
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, I'm a poor artist out there. I need it. I mean, we play for free out there in Nashville, but I'm not complaining. But I'm just saying. So, but I usually don't, because I don't sing like her. So I don't usually say that I'm related to her. Now these guys have it in my bio, which is great for you guys. So I can, I don't mind talking about that, but she's royalty there. And to say, then they're waiting for you to open your mouth. And I mean, it's already a shock. Like, these young people write with me, and I'll get on stage and I walk with a cane right now, because I'm waiting to get a hip replacement, and I have arthritis here. And so they're like, oh, yeah, here goes this old lady. She's going to get on stage. Then I open my mouth, and they're like, I want to write with her. And I love that, because no, it's not my vocals. They're like, oh, well, I'll sing the demo. I'm like, hey, that's good. I'm horrible, but I mean, it's, but it's a lot of fun. And I went there with nothing.
Yeah.
I might come back with nothing, but I don't think so. I think that I've come back with a lot of experience and knowledge, because I was kind of doing the music thing and watching my friends that were successful. I mean, I had friends that were kind of mentoring me down in Charleston that, travel with some pretty big people.
Yeah.
And, on the acting side and with the music. And for me, because they tell me I'm perky and nice and smiley, and usually I am until I get home. And then I'm tired. I eat a whole pizza and then I go to bed and cry because my head hurts. I'm kidding. But
I experienced that by 11 a.m. So
I work with Rick Barker.
Okay.
About 900 people in the world do. And Rick used to be Taylor Swift's, was her first manager.
Okay.
And so a lot of these Nashville people, they have programs and stuff. And so I do some one-on-ones with Rick. I'm like, either do I go to my therapist this week or do I go to Rick? You know, and I go to Rick. So you can do a one-on-one with him. And he said, Stephanie, he said, you're in the right place because you've got the right attitude, mindset, manners. You're bubbly. He said one thing. Don't talk all the time. So he goes, listen more.
It's hard. It's hard for us. It's hard because Bill can attest to this. I talk a lot. I probably talk so much that we've had guests on this show that I can guarantee you, people listen to it, they have no idea who they are or what they do because I talked through the whole thing. So I get it. I need to learn to be quiet more. Your three singles. First one, Hey Boy, Man Crush, and now Beer Shirt and Church.
Beer Shirt, and tonight Mud Night Ride.
Mud Night Ride. So that drops tonight. This episode will air on Monday, June 10th. But so by now,
I might get one extra follower and then I might have two more after this. So this will be good.
Where does it benefit you more following? Is Spotify or is it?
Here's the thing that I'm starting to get a grip on is that if you go to like some of these big songwriters, their Instagrams, they might have like 1,000 and something followers.
Yeah,
5,000. It's the ones that sing them that have like 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. You go to Spotify. It's so hard to keep Spotify's, and you don't know if you've got bots. Hey Boy and Man Crush are on a couple of, I think, European playlists in Spotify. We don't know about Beer Shirt didn't make it. I don't think I pitched that one, but some people want me to. I get emails saying come pitch this, and I'm like, okay. And so Jack Samter, who I wrote that with, he sings it. But yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. Jack Samter.
Yeah, Jack Samter.
Yeah, he's actually featured in Beer Shirt and Church. So because when I listened to that one, I kept listening, and I was like, where's Stephanie?
You can hear me. I'm going, hey.
But at the beginning, I didn't. I was like, I'm going
to re-record a girl version of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
People want that, but that's another thing. It's like being from a small town. Everybody's like, oh, she's going to be singing a song, blah blah blah. Then start cranking them out, and I don't sing all of them. And I think of all the songs Bob Dylan wrote that he didn't sing.
Yep.
Neil Diamond wrote a ton of songs he didn't sing. Other groups, I didn't know how Neil Diamond wrote half of what he wrote.
Yeah.
And Chris Christopherson, John Prine. You think about all that. And so if I can help some kid move along, and my songs are getting better and better, and they're getting more descriptive, and I'm not bragging. That's what you strive for,
right? Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You've got to be short, condensed, get to the point, and it's got to be so clever. It's got to be so clever, and that's why I can't write sappy love songs, because they end up like Hate and Hugs or something like that. That was my second song I ever wrote.
Sure,
I'm trying to bring that one back out, but everybody's like, my daughter's like, Mommy, you seem angry. Don't put some of those songs out there. don't do that. You're making yourself seem sad. So, I've got songs written about bridesmaids, and, I got songs that I would sing at the Commodore.
Yeah.
And then I've got my songs that I would record. So I have songs that I would do as, a storytelling situation on stage where I'm, with other songwriters or whatever, doing a round. And then I have my songs I record, and sometimes I play those.
Sure.
But the ones that are the most colorful have the best stories.
Yeah.
And some people are like, you should record them because you never know. And so with Chelsea and Nash Bash Collective, I've been recording a lot of demos. We're going to take my songs. I've already got the system where I've got these charts I'm working out, and we're going to be developing my emails and pitches. And I have one chance to send to each emerging artist that, and I'm trying to pair them with a song. These cab drivers, these Uber drivers around here, they find out your songwriter. I want to hear songs. So you put them on. It's one guy, he works security down Broadway. He goes, oh, Morgan Wallen needs to sing that. Goes, give me another one. I mean, he was like, oh, yeah, Dolly Parton needs to sing that one.
That's neat.
He goes, yeah, I've got her number. I don't know how much I believe all that. They just want a bigger tip.
Well, okay. But regardless, I think the whole story of how you went from retiring as a teacher after 28 years, which I have a friend who she retired a few years ago. She actually was my wife's teacher in high school. And she talks about how this was, this was the best teacher she had. And if Sarah, if she's listening right now, the buyers, they are wonderful people and adore them. So Sarah Jane, if you're listening, you could potentially find a new career outside of retirement and teaching. But
absolutely, I suggest it.
It's such a cool story because I mean to go from doing teaching, especially in Charleston, because and Charleston's one of the counties that's actually fairly progressive about what it is they're trying to do for teachers. Because now you see Charleston has they've actually increased pay for some of the teachers down there.
Yeah, that's great.
To try so, but 28 years and then to say, this is what I'm going to do next, and then actually pursue it. It's such a cool thing.
I didn't know what to do, and then there was an unfortunate chain of events.
Sure.
And then I knew what I had to do, and I kind of gave up music. And this is a good time to introduce this. I started going to Uncle Fester's bar and playing open mics. I was living with my sister at the time. I was really missing that. And, it'd been COVID and my band had stopped and nobody was doing open mics, and they were starting to have open mics. And I met a whole new group of people.
Yeah.
And Greg, who runs all of that, he just does, such a great job. And he's been there for years. And Celestial Viking, I think, is his production company, Greg Sword. And so August 15th, he was supposed to send me some information to tell y'all, but I didn't check. August 15th, I'm supposed to be playing a writer's round with 2 other female songwriters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be in the evening. And I think it's a ticketed event. And if you go to Celestial Viking or Greg Sword, you probably find more information about it. And it'll be on StefaniMorton music. I have not told these guys, hey guys, I've changed everything. It is no longer the Stefani Morton official. It is now Stefani Morton music, because everybody's like, well, what does she think she is official? That's when I was doing more acting. And so I just changed it to the music. So
yeah. Tom and Daneen.
How that goes, and I'll change my persona next week again, I guess.
Oh goodness, Tom and Daneen are probably scrambling at this point. That's great.
Squirming, we're like,
I'm not even famous, but I have official in my handle as well.
That's true. That's true.
And I saw Bill that he asked on my Instagram to follow me. And I said, well, I'm glad he knows me as my new name now. So, yeah. But I just closed mine off to private because, like I said, being in Nashville, the young kids, they can tumble out of bed and be looking out at the sun, hadn't brushed their teeth, nothing, and they look gorgeous, just drop dead gorgeous. And they just take this picture and they get 100 likes. I can get it all dolled up. I mean, I can go out and buy the most expensive outfit on Amazon and at Walmart.com, put that on, get my hair did, all that stuff. I get one. So I said, I'm tired of putting my life out there on Instagram. So you can ask me if you ask to follow me, and I'll have to, you got to make sure you like something every once in a while.
That's yeah.
But I have to get over that, because what it is in Nashville, it is about your lyrics. They don't care how many cuts you've gotten. Sometimes they do. They don't care how many Instagram followers you got. They don't care. They don't care. If it looks right on paper, they don't even care how you sing it in the demo. I've heard some demos. I'm like, good Lord. And they got it. They got theirs pushed through because of the lyrics. And when I got there, and I'm going to start tearing up. And when I got there, I could not believe the reception that I received with my lyrics.
That's great.
And that people stopped and listened.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything bad about South Carolina or anything, but everybody loves a good cover here.
It's
I mean,
true.
we just played Wagon Wheel at the show at Uncle Willie's.
Very cool.
It's like we had this crowd of like 20 people come in, and then they all left, and I'm like, let's play Wagon Wheel. Okay, let's play it. So it's like, I don't think ASCAP was going to come bust us.
Well, first,
but anyway, so yeah, it's just, I kind of was almost done with music, and then Greg, had that open mic, and I started meeting people. Then I stopped going for a while, and I kind of played at the VFW in Lexington some.
Yeah.
But then I just stopped, and I said, I need to go, and I never thought it would be like this. And it's not instant fame. It's not instant fortune. There's people there's so many good musicians that are not, I don't want to say A-listers, but they're not, on the top upper echelon of Billboard. They're down here, the 200. They're the bottom part of the 200, and they are amazing. And those are the people I would like to write for.
Yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it for the passion and the expression.
No, they're making money.
Well,
but I mean, that's the problem you get in some genres of people. And if it's it doesn't sound like Walker Hayes to me, I'm not listening. I'm going back to go watch my TV now.
Yeah, but
you really got to find that vibe of who appreciates a good lyric. And I'll never forget my first tip in Nashville. I was at Bobby's Idle Hour, and it was hosted by a really good, she hosts all kinds of open mics around town, C4, and she's up for a Josie Award.
Okay.
And anyway, I played the song called Dear Daddy Angel, and this man put a $10 bill in my hand. Now that's big. Whether it's Nashville or not, I end up giving it to my pet groomer. But he came, and he still follows me. And he goes, I really like that song. I'm like, it's about a girl talking to her. I'm thinking in my head, it's about a girl talking to her dead daddy about her bad boyfriend. And there's got to be a better boyfriend out there. You and God find me a better boyfriend. Okay. That's what the song is basically about. But he said it just reminded me of my dad and talking to my dad. So, people see things in a different ways. And I think people come to Nashville certain people come to hear those things.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a friend after college. He lived in Nashville for a little while. He's an artist, a recording artist down in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. His name's John Harris. And like, I remember John Harris from when he played my 18th birthday out of my garage. And,
oh wow!
And now he's with a group called the Sin Hounds, or that was his old group. But like they just are about to release, or just released an album that they started working on 15 years ago, broke up, and then came back just recently and finished it up.
Yeah.
So and when I say it's not about the money, it's the passion that drives them. It's not the money that drives them. It's the passion, because you want to be expressive in somehow, and this is what you've chosen, and it's not necessarily that you're doing it just to get the listens or just to get the concerts and things like that, but you're doing it because this is what you're driven by. I'm gonna let Bill ask you a question, because he had a question specifically about your guitars.
Okay.
No, it was like, also, sorry, I had to switch everything. My internet completely went out. So
That happens to me.
I was like, dropped. I was like, uh-oh, I missed a few things. But no, I was gonna ask. I saw on your website you play a tailor as well. I'm also a tailor.
Yeah, they're
User.
great.
What kind of tailor model do you play? I'm just curious.
It's a big baby tailor. And I couldn't tell you what the number is. I could tell you how much it costs. But I don't think that'd be proper.
No,
but I got it from Musician's Friend, and that was my last acquisition before I moved to Nashville. I also play a Martin, and I took that Martin out to Utah, played in Park City last summer some. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's got like this beautiful painting on the front of it, and I don't play that out. That's usually when I rehearse on, because the pickup settled in a very weird way. I have a different type of pickup in it, and I haven't gotten it fixed. So, but it is a beautiful guitar. But I do like my Taylor. What do you like about yours the best?
Oh, I mean, mine is just, first of all, it's a cutaway. I saw yours was a full body. So it's like, I originally had, when I first started playing, I had a Michelle, I can't remember the full, it was a Guitar Center brand, like, guitar.
I think it's Mitchell. I think you're right. Yeah.
Mitchell, yeah, because it had like a pretty, like, sunburst color. Yeah. And then I just went and got like it's like right here, but I got like a, just plain acoustic style look. And I mean, playing it, I mean, it was the first like professional guitar that I like bought to like play music with my brother.
Really?
And it's just, I mean, my dream guitar is a Maton, like the one like if you know Tommy Emmanuel or any of them. Like,
I have friends that play with him.
Yeah, that's cool. I was super lucky. I got to like do during lockdown, like with COVID. He had like an 8-month long program on TrueFire, and I got to like do lessons with it. It was amazing. But it was like, I mean, for fingerstyle playing, like all that stuff, it's just a good guitar. It's got.
You want to go on the road with me?
Maybe.
There's your offer.
Maybe. Yeah. There we go. We could do like some covers of something. I can do some fingerstyle. You can do some rhythm and some lead. Perhaps.
Yeah, I'm about to get a friend of mine. I'm hoping to Mark Noble. Yeah. I think he's going to start playing for me, so I can just sing like all the other divas in Nashville. Because I play outlaw. I mean, my music's kind of borderlines female outlaw stuff, and that's
awesome.
Yeah, but it's nerve-wracking. I mean, I'm just like, oh, it's just too much coordination and everything. And so I'd rather do a shaker or play spoons, or I do play spoons.
Yeah.
But I had Chris Ash. I'm sure y'all know who Chris is. He plays around town. He played today with me up at Uncle Willie's. Very accomplished guitarist, and I really enjoyed him tagging along and appreciated it. And we did a couple over at Uncle Fester's yesterday. But yeah, so I met a lot of people at Uncle Fester's yesterday. So when I come back from my hip surgery, they can all come and sit with me. We can write. Like I met the Water Kickers for the first time. They're fantastic. And there's so much great talent here in South Carolina. You don't have to go to Nashville, but it was something I just wanted to do. And I could. For my kids get married and start pumping out babies, I need to go and do something because I know I'm going to be babysitting. So it's it's just something that I wanted to do. And I was a very, very detail-oriented art teacher. And my students were high achievers, and I made them that way. And it's not that I'm doing it for money. Yeah, everybody wants a cut.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was across the street when Morgan Wallen threw the chair. I was at Garth Brooks' bar. I'm like, what just happened? Why couldn't I have been hit by the chair? And everybody's like, what? That guy Quinn, he's from Ohio. He's a radio guy. He's like something about Morgan Wallen. And I took a picture. There's a picture of me with the Batman building. I was doing like this. And I said, what y'all talking about? I'm in the wrong I was in the wrong bar. And some lady goes, you didn't want to get hit by that chair. I said, yes, I did, because then I would have sued Morgan and told him, I said, you have to sing my song.
Right. Yeah.
So,
that's the settlement.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you've still taken that step that every guitarist like dreams of finally getting off their like chair and going to Nashville to play music. I mean, that's like it takes so much. It does take so much to get there.
It's expensive. I'm not going to lie.
That is also
I'm lucky to written out my place, and I sold my car. I mean, and my family's going to be saying this. She did what? Yeah, I sold my car. I take Ubers a lot, and I've had to, and I'm like, people are like, you got to stay at least 4 years. And I last week I almost gave up. I mean, it is hard. And the only difference I say about what you're saying, or I see, because I don't see what other people see. I don't see how people see me. I just see me as just going to glorified band camp, if you will. Okay. And I learn from people. And I don't talk as much as I do, like I'm talking with y'all or anything. But what I'm saying is, you can do what they're doing in Nashville and go to Nashville once every 3 months. Line up and play. I mean, people are welcome to reach out to me. I can tell them where to go play and who to be in contact with, because I did that real quick.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at people that move there and have been doing nothing for a year. They don't know how to go. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just, but if I come back, which I will, I hope to help others be able to feel confident enough to go and do what I've done, because I know people look at me and go, it's mediocre. But my producer believes in my lyrics. A lot of people do. And I have session musicians that play for big time A-listers. And they've come up to me and said, I like so-and-so song. You keep going. It's going to take you a while.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy, but you keep going and you keep playing it. And you keep getting it out there, and something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And if you gotta kind of have those Pollyanna dreams, And but last week I almost gave up. I was just about done, because it is really hard, and it's a different type of hard. It can be mentally, but. People say, "Oh, you're living the dream," but they don't see it. I only put the good stuff up. I don't.
The dream's ramen and boiled water. That's that.
Yeah.
That's not,
yes. It's like popcorn. Your dog eats it, and then it's like, and your cat like brings you 2 decapitated mice and puts them at your doorstep. That's a lot of fun. I'm not kidding you.
No, I believe it. Well, so
I'm sure you haven't ever heard that before on your podcast.
There's always room for firsts. That is absolutely a certain. So, we don't want to keep you too long, but the website is stefanimorton.com. You can go out there and check. She has some dates coming up. You're going to be at Sweet CC's in Nashville on the 15th of June.
That's in Franklin. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got the Dive on the 16th. You're going to be live from the Living Room podcast on the 17th.
Bobby Connell, Bobby Ray's music.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then let's see, June 19th, you're going to be at Bad Axe Throwing in Nashville. June 26th. Commodore Grill. I've been to the Commodore Grill.
Yeah, it's great venue.
And then you're going to be back in Columbia on August 15th at Uncle Fester's again.
And I'll probably fill up some dates. I'm going to be at Copper Branch, a vegan restaurant on Church Street Sunday. And always check, even if you want to do my tours, you can look up Amerighost and look and see what I'm working. Usually I'll post them sometimes on Stefani Morton Music on Facebook and whatnot, but I appreciate guys. Yeah, Stefani Morton Music, and we're working on the YouTube this summer. So I'm working on videos with my songwriting coach and a couple of other people out there. My friend Parker, he's got Unique Beats, and he does a lot of those type of services, and it's really cool to have friends that are in the business that can help you with those kind of things. But YouTube needs to happen, because my genre area, my people that are, let's face it, my age, they like YouTube.
I understand. Sadly I look at YouTube a lot, so I will definitely subscribe. So so singles out right now. You've got Hey Boy, Man Crush, and Beer Shirt and Church, and then the single that actually drops tonight. So by the time you're listening to this episode, it's already been out for a week. But the new single is called.
It's called Mud Night Ride.
Mud Night Ride.
We talk about the Carolina squat in it, which is totally illegal. Darius, if you're watching, you need to sing this song. Gino Bergio, who I wrote it with, sings it and produced it, and it's a good demo. It's a demo, but the words are really cool. So yeah.
Well, I'll just leave it at this. Darius Rucker didn't write Wagon Wheel. Also, that's a cover for him. No. So just if people, I worked in radio in Atlanta. We used Darius Rucker before he went into country, but when he was still Hootie in the Blowfish, he actually would come into our studio to mix audio. So I got to meet with Darius many times. Mm-hmm. And even then, back in like 97, 98, he was already going the country direction. Like that was his vision. That's where he wanted to go.
I saw him last summer. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no. So StefaniMorton.com. That's Stephanie with an F. So
yep. Stefani on Alexa, you have to say, "Hey Alexa, play Stefani Morton." She doesn't know me as Stephanie. She knows me as Stefani.
That's great. Well, we'll have all the links to the show notes, so you can go out. People subscribe, whether it's on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube Music or whatever. Just do that. And Stephanie,
very much.
we wish you all the success.
Thank you.
And we you come back in town. I'll come out to Uncle Fester's.
Awesome.
I'll come out there.
Yeah.
Sprinkle off a little bit.
Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to Broad Street Net because they were my first financial choice in this endeavor of mine, and I have never regretted it one bit.
No, Daneen and Tom are fantastic, and
yes.
and we really appreciate them Daneen connecting you with us, because this has been fun, and I your story is really interesting and amazing, and I would just encourage you. I know you had a bad week last week where you almost gave up. Just push through it. Just keep pushing through it.
I hear you. If it it's higher being is the reason why I stay grounded, and I keep reaching for the stars. And it's not about the money, but when you come up with a good lyric, you're like, it's more about getting into a room and writing with somebody else that's at a different level. It's not even if it's going to, because you could, I could go write with Tranny Anderson. I mean, that could be 10 years down the road. I would be eaten alive if I got in a room like that. But to do that, that's a goal. That would say it's just like, running to somebody at the grocery store. Hey.
Yeah. 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 Well, again, Stephanie, we wish you all the best luck.
Thank
StephanieMorton.com is where you can see show dates, and also all of her singles are out there. So, Stephanie, thank you for being on the podcast with us.
Appreciate y'all.
And that is going to wrap it up for this episode. Stephanie Morton, really appreciate you being on as well. We had Tate White and Bernie Heller from the freetimes Columbia, the Post and Courier freetimes here in Columbia. So that'll do it for this episode. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. You all stay safe and have a great week. The All About Nothing podcast is produced and engineered by me, Barrett Gruber. Thanks to Cake for our intro music, Sick of You. You can follow everything Cake the Band at cakemusic.com. Thanks to Muff the Producer for our outro music. You can follow Muff on Instagram at Muff the Producer. I am Barrett Gruber. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Barrett Gruber, or visit my Linktree /Barrett Gruber. Want to support the show? Visit our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com, and become a member. There are several tiers available, including memberships that give you early access to episodes as well as exclusive content. Visit theallaboutnothing.com. To find links to our social media, merchandise, and past episodes, visit theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be heard on the show, you can call and leave us a message. Dial 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is more than you can handle, check out our partner podcast. Zach and I host What the Pod Was That with Carrie Simmons. Visit whatthepodwasthat.com for links and details. Me takes a deep dive down the rabbit hole in episodes of Welcome to Wonderland, available on all the podcast platforms. Visit Visit WTWLpod.com for details. As well, you can listen to the political and social conversation between Dr. Jamela Brooks and Bill Kimler on Black, White, and Blue in the South, available wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe and share this show. If you're on YouTube, please like and hit the notification bell. Thank you for listening. The preceding podcast is a product of Big Media and copyright 2024, all rights reserved.